So, welcome to Magic Bringers Rising chat for the week of July 17th through the 23rd. And stay tuned to this episode because you're going to want to find out all about how this kind of fiery and watery week of rising intense energy, yet again, is helping you to rise. So, stay tuned. Welcome to Magic Bringers Rising Chats, a show by Super Secret Powers. I'm your host, Lindsay Baldessano, and let's get ready for a dose of energy healing, channeled guidance, and humor to keep your intuitive flow open and your roots grounded so you can weave the life of healing, spiritual purpose, and magic that you want. So, feel like this week is going to be one of those weeks where we're all kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And I say this because we've got some airy stuff and we've got Mars stuff. And we've got two retrogrades coming over the weekend. And some of this, I think, is going to be triggering some Saturn stuff because Saturn is in retrograde during all of this. And I don't know why, but it feels like there's just something about this week that has us in judgment. And to me, that's a very Saturn thing, at least in this context. So, we're starting this week off with North and South Node shifting their transit. So they were, I don't remember what they were in, Taurus and something else. I've already had a day here, so. But they are shifting into Aries and Libra, which is an interesting mix up. And I think it's really already and has been for like 4 or 5 days now. Do I look tired already? Then, shifting the whole tone of 2023. And, yeah. Uh, so, when we're talking about Aries and North Node, we are seeing where North Node is, soul evolution, where we're going, the kind of pattern archetype that we are evolving to in this lifetime. And we're going to see a lot of increased drive, determination, and the ability to implement over this next year because of that shift that now it's in Aries, right? And the Libra in the South Node is like what we're moving away from. Some people tend to say like it's the weakness, it's the thing the thing we are evolving, healing to get to the North Node stuff. And so really the theme to get us into that balance is going to be something along the lines of realizing just how you were made for this. But yeah, let's shy away from the over control stuff for wherever Libra does fall in your charts. Yeah, this year. And Tuesday we have new moon. So we are replanting some seeds. We are getting some clarity on our intentions, and it's in Cancer. So lots of feels, lots of thoughts about security. And maybe that's what's tripping some of the wires with the Saturn stuff too. Especially in Western culture, we are so programmed to correlate work, money, salary, income with security and home stuff, which is, Cancer and Taurus, but we're in Cancer, so we have some Mars stuff midweek. And then as we're like Thursday through Sunday, we have a lot more watery influence, I think. We have some Neptune stuff going on, and then over the weekend we definitely have Pluto. And Pluto to me is just like the deeper waters. Things are going to rise out of the deeper waters and come into light. So it's a good, it's an excellent weekend just because of the astrology for lots of emotional healing. I mean, yes, it's going to make you feel lighter in the long term. Yes, it's going to make you be able to be in this place where you feel like you can grow comfortably and peacefully, and it doesn't all have to be a struggle, and it doesn't all have to be um, these chaotic pot stirring things filled with drama. You can see where I am this week. Because we have Pluto doing a dance over the weekend, and then we also have Venus going retrograde in Leo, and we have Chiron going retrograde. And while Chiron is not a planet, Chiron is a planetary body in our solar system. Uh, but that is, Chiron is the healer. Chiron is Centaur. To all my coven mates, ha ha ha. Chiron is going retrograde. Great. But, it's just that another influence that's going to lead us through our personal emotional healing during this week, or at least kick it off this week. Because I usually find that when things are about to go retrograde and when things are about to go direct, it feels like the world in relationship to where these things hit us based on our natal charts, based on, just what that influence is, like Venus, drive and passion and love and um, art and beauty and the things that light us up. That kind of stuff gets a little wibbly wobbly or can go through a big upgrade. And just, when it's in those transit times. Because then when it stations into its actual retrograde pattern, I mean, after the wibbly wobbly, then, we kind of adjust and we kind of integrate. And then we have that whole period of the retrograde to kind of integrate that stuff. And some things will always hit us deeper than others, of course, based on the natal chart, who you are, where you are, what return you're in, blah, 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 blah. I used to be so much better with the watery stuff, with the emotional stuff. But yeah, Neptune. A 40, 45 ish Neptune. Yeah. Those are some deep waters, I will say that much. So whenever Neptune's doing a fancy dance somewhere, I'm a little like, I'm just going to do like extra self care this week. So expect this week, next week, to really ease you into a more direct flow for the rest of 2023. I feel like the beginning of 2023 was always going to be like a tester period, an experimental period, a period where we have to go deep in order to find, what's going to come forward in these next 6 months, before we slide into 2024. We are not all that far away from the next retrograde, or the next eclipse season, probably about halfway there. So, you know, things are always changing, things are always shifting. This week, last week, even the week before, all of July, let's say, has been intense. It's been a powerhouse. There's been, revelations, and there's been realizations, and there's been ahas, and there's been clearing, and there's been so much happening during these summer months, um, that I know then looking forward and saying something like, well, we're probably about halfway to eclipse about now. I haven't actually looked at the calendar for that, but that seems important to note right now. This is not the end of the world. This internal pressure will ease up. This chaos will even out. You will adjust. You will make the changes you need to make, one way or the other, right? So, of course, none of this means it's the end of the world. It just means a little change, a little fine tuning, maybe some upgrades to your life, some upgrades to how you're thinking about your worth and where you want to spend your wealth. What's the most responsible choice that you can make right now for yourself here and your future self? But let's keep it short term because so much is changing these next couple years, right? Um, but the living experience, of course, is intense. And you can feel, I was certainly feeling before this video, like this rise in internal pressure and frustration and, the disappointment and the anger stuff, but not necessarily like I'm angry for a deep cause. I mean, yes, that certainly could be part of this, especially with all the Pluto and Chiron stuff going on this week. But I feel like this is also the week where we're going to be a bit more like road ragey, a bit more um, intolerant of being around like big crowds when you go shopping and that kind of stuff. And comes down to judgment. And I don't know why, but I really feel like this is Saturn. This is Saturn. Um, we are in judgment of number one, because this is always like Lindsay's first step, ourselves. What we think, what we feel, the experience we're having. We are in complete and total judgment of that. Like it's wrong. It's wrong to feel angry. It's wrong to feel frustrated. It's wrong to feel disappointed in someone when maybe we know perhaps we didn't communicate as clearly as we could have. And no, that just came out of nowhere. So nobody take that part personally from me. um, and that has a lot to do with boundaries too. So really watch where you are blaming yourself or making things harder on yourself, and watch where you're trying to take on the responsibility for someone else's stuff, whether it's their cleaning habits or their work habits, or really kind of sit back with that this week and say like, all right, I know I'm already triggered. Maybe this is the week to either use my words wisely, or let it slide, or just rise above and say, you know what I have to do is more important. What I have to do for myself right now is more important than worrying about that, than feeling like I have to control that, than feeling like I have to address that. And really coming in and finding a way to soothe that inner self. This is not the week for rash, brash judgment, thinking, confrontation. I say that, and I also dichotomously here believe that we are where we are for a reason. Um, I'm just saying, carry this grain of salt that maybe everything you're experiencing within this woo, of this week is not all real. Maybe some of it is illusion. Maybe some of it is distraction. Maybe some of it is just old stuff that is getting cleared out of your system and you no longer have to act on it. carry that grain of salt with you this week. And if you find yourself tripping down the light, not so fantastic, get something to eat that's good for you. Go take a nap, go for a walk, go binge 30 minutes of cat videos, do whatever you have to do to bring in the belief that maybe you're just taking it all a little too seriously this week. This week. We'll see what next week brings. You know, Saturn is not saying do it all now, fix it all now. It's saying we have to be responsible. Responsible to ourselves first, of course. So that's honoring our own timing. That's honoring our own needs first. That's honoring our own energy limitations first. So as long as you put it on the calendar and have the follow through to follow up on it in 3 days from now, that is still being responsible. As long as you can communicate to somebody, I would very much like to talk to you about this now, but I am busy. I am involved in something else. I am busy caretaking something else. I can give you time on this time and date. That is being responsible. That is being wise, and that is being as good as it can get in that moment. I mean, you can't control their reaction to that. You can't control, how they're going to take it or how they're going to come to terms with the fact that you're setting a boundary. But you still need to do it and trust that maybe that is just what needed to be said in that moment. And no, that doesn't mean like it has to come down as harsh. It doesn't mean like you have to like beat everybody off with a stick. Though I think this week we'll be very tempted to do that. Just saying, don't judge yourself. Try and find your wisdom in this. And for our light language today, we are going to try and attune to find the higher message behind all this spiritual fire, fire, water, that kind of flow. Just bring in that higher message, see if we can get a little bit more clarity around this very intense emotional week. All right. So, if you are an empath, or if you are an intuitive who is, really struggling during this time with your abilities, and you need to get the know-how, like boundaries, like some skill sets that will actually help you release and learn to work with your abilities and your energies so that you can feel functional, so that you can feel beyond functional into thriving, into stepping into your purpose and your mission. Feel free to contact me about my Flow with Intuition package. I only have like 4 spots, and that's like max for my energy right now, that I could possibly fill. So, yeah, look for the link so you can find out the details about that, the pricing around that, what it involves. And if you have any questions, contact me. And as I sink into my own centering here, getting ready for the light language portion of our video for this week, really struck about how there's this, like I think maybe this week is really about the balance of the fire and the water, of drive, emotion, implementation, and calm. Calm. Water just feels calm right now. Um, the pull to follow a different flow. And how those things aren't necessarily separate. And how maybe the way through all the fire and the shift toward action happens because we tap into a deeper, more soulful, more heart-filled, watery flow. Um, but balance. Balance because we can't let ourselves just float along by through it. We have to be able to use and attune to those calming, deeper, more steadfast energies of water when and as we need to, because we still need to be able to walk the land instead of, just the swim in the ocean or float in the ocean. Um, Sorry, there's just quiet now. All right. I was going to start with just a quick low frequency here, just maybe one or two tuning forks just to help break up the judgment stuff. I have to be up in everybody else's business and I have to be, pushing my own agenda kind of judgments that might come along with this week. So certainly this is something you can use all week long as you need to. Just come back to this video, save it on Facebook, or put it in your watch laters on YouTube, so that you have it so you can go back to this portion here. And this might work better with headphones. And if you need to, you can kind of hum along with the frequency you hear. Just let that frequency kind of reset the energy in your whole body. Feel it kind of just melt away. The illusion, anger, stress, frustration, worry. Moving up to 174. And do the same thing, just nice, easy breaths. If you feel you need to hum to activate this frequency in your body, feel free. I'm going to open up the heart a little bit. It's 528. Now here's a surprising one. You have 4,160. Part of an angel set I just got. But when I was playing with them earlier in these energies, this is what just felt good. Let this call in a deeper understanding, the alignment between your emotional needs and desires at this time. And the energy of implementation and conscious change. How are they both feeding you? How are they both nourishing you? Now these energies to help you find, sense, perceive where your sweet spot might be between these two forces, the water and the fire, the oceans and the burning sand. Change and support. And all other illusions and judgments about how you could, should, would be just fall away for this time. And seek out and attune to your own natural rhythm during this week. And may you draw on the oneness of all of your guides, guardians, angels, allies, and ancestors during this time. Realize the oneness with them. You are them, and they are you. You are part of a collective that is part of a collective that is part of a collective. Drawing from the same set of abilities, wisdom, lived experience. It's all available to you as it is to them. And I seal that energy for you this week. Available in the collective as always, and of course on Facebook and YouTube. So if you found this a beautiful healing, if you found this helpful to you, please like, share, follow with the rest of the beautiful soul workers out there. And thank you for showing up for the collective and for participating in this. Beautiful reciprocity. Beautiful reciprocity this week. All right. And I will see you on Wednesday with the next Living with Your Intuition web episode. And especially in these energies, it's bound to be a very good time. So please watch for that. And of course, look for those links for my Flow with the Intuition packages. Like I said, there's only at most 4 slots available for packages. And yeah, so once those are gone, those are gone. So if you are in this space where you're like, I know I need some kind of help, I know I need to finally learn how to be well with my emotions, and I need to learn how to be well with the guidance that is coming through, because I feel the niggles, I see the synchronicities, but I just can't seem to get to that deeper connection point alone. This is your opportunity. All right. Love you all, and see you as the week goes on.